Hey everyone, thank you for watching and welcome to another episode of the Aftershock Effect. I'm Matthew Ferguson. If you enjoyed this material, feel free to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and let's get on with the episode. So today, we're talking about continuation from the story from last week, and I kind of gave you a general synopsis of how things began. And I was at Kentucky Christian University, graduated, um, and I felt led to do a program. And a lot of it came from one wanting to get out a message that I wasn't agreeing with, but I wanted to get something out of it. And not actually take it and listen to it, but actually do it. And um, there was so much against my program up in the beginning, and that's where faith comes in. And faith is something that a lot of people don't understand unless you are in a religious community. You don't understand what kind of thing faith and how much power faith is. And it's bigger than any one of us, and it's not logical. And that's what I think a lot of people have problem with faith, because it just doesn't make sense to the normal person to why are you doing this? Why are you doing what you're doing if it's not going to make you money, if it's not going to bring you item stuff, pay your bills? Why are you doing it? And for me, there was a passion to make sure that people had somewhere to go, that people cared about them, and that they felt like they mattered and that they were important. And there was so much against it at the very beginning. Like, even when I presented it, all the leaders had to say was no. But for whatever reason, they said, we don't think it's going to work, but good luck. We hope it does. And then even in the second location, where I was able to do it the way I had designed it, how I had it planned, even that had some obstacles, because I had to represent it again and say, this is what it's supposed to be, this is how it's supposed to look, this is what it's supposed to do. And in the beginning, there was there was a lot of, am I doing the right thing? But slowly it grew. And then once it grew to the point where it was like nothing I ever experienced before in my life, where it went from one student to 7 students to about 12 each week, to the point it exploded, to where there was at least, at the height of it, 45 students that would come week in, week out. But then it shrunk down to where we always averaged, which was about 25, 30 students a week. But even then, there was so much that was against it that could have went wrong. And God was behind it. And I feel like faith was behind it, because what we were doing it for was for a bigger purpose, bigger meaning. And I think that's where we can get sidetracked in life, because we try to do things our way, and sometimes it doesn't work out, and we exhaust every single thing that we do, and we try every human idea until we come to the conclusion that maybe we should let God do his thing and let God take control. And at that point, that's when sometimes things turn around, but it doesn't always, because God is in control of things. and you got to let him be in control. And that's something that's hard for all of us to understand, is how to just surrender and let him be God and let him take control of the situation. There were so many times, for example, we always had provided snacks for the students, and um, and there were times where we thought, there's no way we're going to be able to get snacks, and they would show up, and we had snacks. I mean, a lot of times we would run out, but every student had enough snacks to get them through, and they had more than enough. And I've seen it so many times in my life that I was up against the wall, and all of a sudden things happened where I was able to get through it because God was in charge, and I sought God instead of my own ways. And that's something I guess I've been struggling with lately, is I've tried everything humanly possible to do what I think is best, but that might not be what God wants. And I think that's where we struggle, is we try to do things in our own time frame, but God stands outside of that, and he's bigger than that, and he understands what we're going through. So when we go throughout these days, just seek God. Seek God when you have struggle, whenever things seem like they're impossible and you don't understand how it's going to get done. I've seen them time and time again in my own life where I was like, I don't know how this is going to work. And it worked. And it always takes me back to James 5:17 and 18, where it says, Elijah was just a man, a human being just like us. He prayed earnestly that there will be a drought and famine for 3.5 years, and that's what happened. And then after that 3.5 years, he prayed again, and it started to rain again. We have access to that same faith. We have access to that same God that can get us through the hardest of circumstances. And I've even seen it in my own life, even lately, even though I haven't been on the straight and narrow like I should, I've seen what God can do. And I've seen the impact that God can have if you just put your faith and trust in him and let him be the one that guides and dictates your life, and let him be the Lord of your life, and go back to what made you so successful in the first place. See, for me, I wouldn't have been successful without God's help. Everything that I tried, everything that I did, made humanly no sense, but it worked. And I think over time, we can get obsessed with our own wants and our desires and get confused on how things should go. But even to the point where people see it, people see that how much faith that you have, and that you are for real and that you're authentic. There's been multiple times, even lately, where I've gotten the response of, I don't believe in your God, but I see what you do and how you live your life and how you pray, and for whatever reason it works. And I think that's a big compliment. I don't believe in your God, but I see that He works through you. And even if you don't have faith, things will get better. Things will get you can make it. You can get through. And this episode is a lot about faith, and it's a lot about believing that things are going to happen and things are going to get better, and they will. It doesn't mean that you won't struggle, but things do get better. And I hope that you tune in next week as we continue this story and this journey together. And if you enjoyed it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share it with somebody else. Maybe they need to hear this. And remember that you matter. And I hope you have a great rest of your week.